I didn't know. I don't know if you guys heard of the killing of this 28, 29-year-old uh, police officer in Chicago by the name of Ella French. Well, she was gunned down by two Hamite boys, as they're called, black men, Hamites. I guess their name is Demont. Uh, what's the name? Morgan something or whatever. I can't remember their names. DeMonte Morgan or something like that. Two black boys shot them down, and we're going to talk about this, but I just want to say that there she is, Ella Friend. There she is. She was a 29-year-old young girl. Look at her. Look at her. 29-year-old girl shot by these two boys. Um, what she was trying to do was pull them over for expired license plates, I believe. And which is something that police officers do. And I'm not sitting here as, I'm not one of those people who pound my chest and say, oh, police, they're our gods, they're our savior, that we must worship them. And we always think, I'm not, I'm not that type of person. I've had my own problems with police. You know that. I'm not here. Praise the Lord. I'm not one of those people. I believe that police are like taxes. They're necessary, but they're not always pleasant. But they're needed. They're needed to keep law and order, but they also have to be held to strict account. I ain't gonna sit up here, oh, hail the police. You know that. I'm not that type of person. Because people with so much power, just like politicians, just like people who work in the government, just like media, they always need to be scrutinized and not made to feel too comfortable. And, look, but here's the thing. These boys, what ended up happening was that when she stopped them, she noticed open containers in the car. Now, that is a legitimate thing to ask people to come out of the car for, to see if you've been drinking. Because we can't have people drinking and driving on our streets. Children and old senior citizens walking around the place, and you there drinking and driving, and you could end up killing someone. We can't have that. And that's what the police are there for. Oftentimes we've seen police officers, stopping people who don't wear their mask properly and asking if they're vaccinated, all this sort of. No. Ella French, this beautiful woman here, this beautiful young girl. Let's see her again, Miss Engineer. If we could see Miss, she was doing what a police officer is supposed to do. She was doing what a police. Look how beautiful this woman is. Look at her. Look at her. Beautiful young girl. She's gone. I don't know if she had kids or anything, but she's gone. Doing the job that a police officer is supposed to do. Protecting the community, keeping law and order. You can't have people drinking and driving, and maybe they weren't. But what she was going to do, and excuse the noise outside, I've got the maintenance people here, but what she was doing was stopping to see if these guys were drinking and driving. She was going to get them out of the car, maybe do a DUI tests on them, and if they were not drinking, well, I don't know, maybe they'd get a fine for the expired plates and maybe a fine for the open containers, because you just can't be doing that stuff, brother. But and she didn't have her gun out. As far as we know, she wasn't nasty with them, because I don't appreciate when cops come up to you all bad mannerly and everything. No, that's unacceptable. But as far as we know, the reports say she was gentle as a lamb. She was calm. She was pleasant. She didn't have bad manners like a lot of cops will tend to do. She was very good, pleasant, and they shot her. They shot her. She didn't even have her gun out. So let's hear. So let's hear from the mother of these two boys. And you'll see this video of this mother, Black woman, beautiful lady, beautiful woman, but you will know why I chose the title of this video, the pussification of the Black man, or the Hamite man, because that's what Black men are called in the Bible, just like white men are called Japheth, and Jews are Shemites, Shemites. But this is why this is why I chose the title, the pussification of Black men. Because ever since, I believe, the 1980s or something, we have had a case. I'm not saying that single mothers, if we could just go full screen, I'm not saying that single mothers are bad. But we have an epidemic of really inept, ineffectual, poorly trained women raising our men. And it's a shame. And as a result, and the science will tell you, now it's not all the time, because I'm not a eugenicist that says, you know, you're born of your circumstances and you're stuck with it. No, I'm not saying that, but the science says that statistically, more times than not, if you are raised without a father, a true stomp down, whoop you into next week, daddy, tell you to sit down, shut up, don't say a word until I tell you to. You know, if you're not raised by that, and you're also raised by a woman who is really a girl herself, you're more times likely as a man to grow up to become a criminal. And that's what's happening to our Black brothers. And this woman here, you can tell, Miss Andrea, can we put the screen up again? You can tell she's a girl. I mean, you can't see, I saw this. I saw this video, and she's there standing up for her, you know, boys and my babies. And I mean, she even run up into the hospital wanting to see them and all this kind of, I mean, you'll see the whole thing. Well, I'll share everything. I mean, you can't see the whole thing, but she even had her cleavage out. I mean, the girl, she looks like my youngest cousin, actually. She really does look like her, actually. My youngest cousin, she looks a lot like her. Girl raising Black men, and she is a girl by her demeanor. Miss Andrea, if we can show this video. I mean, any women watching this, any parent watching this is not the reaction you're supposed to have when you hear that your two boys, who are a bunch of girls themselves, I mean, look at them there. This is the police officer, and these are her two boys. They look like they got, I don't know if they got a white daddy. I don't think they got a white daddy, but maybe she's mixed race and the daddy's full Black. But I mean, they look like little girls too, all tattoos up on them, trying to look like thugs. This one here, besmirching the dreadlock culture, the Rastafarian culture, and the Haile Selassie culture. My grandfather was a Rasta. He'd roll in his grave if he saw this boy here with dreadlocks, this little thug here with dreadlocks. What you trying to do? Are you insulting the Rastas, boy? The Rastas would slap you into next week. My granddaddy would slap you into next week. He dined with Haile Selassie. He sat next to Haile Selassie in Ethiopia. He was a part of the Rastafarian culture. He was a part of it. And to see this little boy here, this little punk boy here, wearing dreadlocks in his hair like he's a Rasta, my grandfather would roll in his grave if he saw that. But parents, this is not the reaction you should have when you hear that your boys have just killed a police officer after the police officer stopped you for expired plates and an open container. It's not like they were standing up for justice. Not like they were standing up for someone's rights or something and they got a little carried away. I still don't advocate killing police officers. I mean, I've had my mistakes with police officers. I've made mistakes, but killing them? The only way I would ever kill anybody is if they come to me trying to put that vaccine in my body. Then I'll kill you. Oh, I'll kill you. Then I'll kill you. Police or not, I'll kill you. But to kill a police officer over, first of all, what you doing with open containers and expired plates? That alone should get your ass whooping. But anyway, I've spoken long enough. Ms. Edger, play this video and show these people how not to react when their children have been caught killing officers over expired plates and open container. Miss Engineer.
To be a voice for my boys, Eric and Monty Morgan. I want you to know I love you and your family loves you. And you're not alone. Know that shit. For everybody else, I just want to simply say there is another side, and my boy's side is not being told right now. I cannot speak too much on it, but I will say this. Don't believe everything you hear and see. It's fictitious. And there is another side. My boys are not monsters, what people trying to paint them to be, at all. At all. There is another side. I don't believe a damn thing CPD says. And I can guarantee you this, my boys was afraid. I'm afraid. Our young Black women, not only young Black women, young Black men, like I just said, I'm afraid. Adults are afraid of the CPD.
If you're afraid of them, you wouldn't shoot them. You'd run. You'd run. That's right. You run. They ain't gonna shoot them. They're shooting them. You'd run. Run. You'd put that car in drive and run. I run. It's gonna be a hot pursuit, GTA style. You wouldn't kill them. You wouldn't kill them. You wouldn't kill them. No. You'd run. And I can understand that whole fear of police. You know that. I mean, look, you white folk, you Japheth brothers, you won't understand it. But that's real. But you'd run. You wouldn't kill them. I don't think they were afraid. I think they were just angry. Angry black men. Angry black boys. Raised by, I mean, you could clearly see she is a little girl herself just by her demeanor. She acts like she's younger than me. I mean, but anyway, let's continue. Let's continue.
I'm clean. I'm not a criminal. My car is clean. I got insurance, all that. But if a cop get behind me, my heart drops. We fear our police here. Unfortunately, we fear them. We don't believe.
I think she's also been listening to too much of the liberal media too. I think she's been listening to too much Black Lives Matter. I think she's been listening to too much Al Sharpton. I think she's been listening to too much Jesse Jackson. I think she's been listening to too much. She's been listening to too much Kobe Bryant or and all these other folks here. These basketball players, these celebrities. She's been listening to too much of them. She ain't been listening enough Arana Nation. I'll tell you what to do. You know, all this hooding around and jigabooing that you're doing. That's the reason. Anyway, let's continue.
Even though we don't trust them, they get behind us. Our hearts drop. We scared. That's just the reality of it. Whether people want to hear that or not, I don't give a damn what people want to hear. I need to be a voice for my voice. And that's all I got to say. Let me get in this hospital to see my damn son.
Listen to her. Listen to her. I mean, the way she even talks. This is what I bet you these boys, when they were raised, they heard all kind of N-words and you little bees and all this sort of stuff. This is why they're growing up, acting like a bunch of little girls here. Because they're raised by a little girl. She looked like she just come off of Mario or Jerry Springer. You can't raise Black boys acting like you just came off of Jerry Springer, because they're gonna act like they're on Jerry Springer. Because look, let's not be chauvinistic here, but women, especially immature women, tend to have a different demeanor about them. They got this, you ain't gonna talk to me no kind of way. And this is what these boys being raised around. That's how they gonna act. And you do that with a police officer, he gonna shoot you. You lucky ain't being around some of them other police, you Derek Chauvin and all them kind of people. But anyway, let's continue. This is her now trying to see her children in the hospital. I mean, you see her, you watch her.
See my damn son.
Listen to her.
Open this motherfucking door.
Listen to her.
Emonte Morgan, my son. I want to see my son. Monty! Monty! Don't touch me! Get away from me!
Is this the way you act with police officers you're supposed to be afraid of?
Hands behind you.
Let me see my son!
I bet you they pulled the taser out. She saw that taser, she said, okay.
Okay.
Listen to her.
Let me see my son, please.
I mean, even these police officers sound like they're reasonable with her.
Stand up.
Can I get my
All right, so that's the video there. I mean, first of all, what you doing at the hospital? Let me tell you something. If I had children, which I don't, and especially if I had boys, if I hear that first of all, if I heard that they had open containers in the vehicle and expired plates, and then I hear that they shoot police officers who were stopping them for the expired plates and the open containers, and they shoot them. I mean, unless they were guilty of something else, let's say a crack in the car or something like that. And even in this day and age, those drug crimes, people are going to jail less and less and less for drug crimes. Thank goodness we are winning the war on drugs, where we don't throw people away for the rest of their life because they're addicted to drugs, unless they're selling it. But I mean, over an open container and an expired plate, and that's it, and you end up shooting it. I mean, that's just a little fine at most. You probably wouldn't even get that. I've been stopped because my license plate was not expired but damaged and nothing. And you shoot them. Let me tell you, I'd go to the hospital, but I wouldn't be going to the hospital to go Monte coddle them. I'd be going to the hospital, whoop the ass. They'd have to arrest me because I'm going to go, where's my son, so I can go kick his ass. That's what I do. But there it is. The pussification of the black man. This woman coming up, I mean, they did this dastardly crime, and she's going to go up in the hospital, go try Monte coddle them up. Give them more Monte coddling, give them more sissifying, give them more womaning. Oh, I love you, baby. I love you. Oh, my baby, my baby. This is my boy. This is my best friend. No. That's what's happening to our community. That's what's happening. We got to do better. And I blame Lyndon Johnson. And I blame his Great Society, which kicked black men out of the home so that black women could get a welfare check. That's what I blame. But anyway, that's what happened, and I mean, it's sad, and of course, you got you got the mayor. Sorry about that, and of course, you got Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who's the mayor of Chicago, and her rhetoric against police. And again, I'm not one of those people who is all police. But at the same time, they're there for a reason. They're there for a reason. There's Lori Lightfoot. They're there for a reason. You know? and all this rhetoric, defund and all this stuff, this would get these little boys up in here to feel bold enough to react like that, because they feel Lori Lightfoot got their back, Black Lives Matter got their back, Al Sharpton got their back, Obama got their back, Biden got their back. That's it. So there it is. There it is. This is the black man's world under Black Lives Matter. This is the black man. I mean, I could show you pictures of Harlem and Chicago and Detroit from the 1930s when we were all wearing suits and ties and spats and hats and furs, and the place was clean, and we owned businesses, Black Wall Street, and I mean, my goodness. My goodness, we were roaring, we were popping back then. Not this today pop. I mean, you know, it's really something. You know, it's really something. I mean, you know, Miss Engineer, if you could just share the screen one more time, please. This is Harlem in the 1920s. You know, Harlem's a black neighborhood in New York City, and look how the women dressed back then. I mean, you know, look at the Cotton Club and all this sort of stuff, and look how clean the streets were. Look how the men dressed. I mean, this is real popping, not this 1980s to now pop. I mean, you know, and now you got you got this. You got this. You got this. This is Black Lives Matter now. This is Al Sharpton. This is Obama. Look at it. You know, this is it. Now compare the first picture I showed you to now. So what we're doing right now is clearly not working. We need to go back to the stomp down days. But anyway, I won't flip myself on you further. Remember, all donations are going to be put in the Arana Nation Foundation, which is a foundation I created yesterday, which it will go to help people who get you know, hurt in some way, defying the COVID-19 tyranny. And this is